GoGood makes some of the cleanest protein on the planet. New Zealand grass-fed, full batch traceability, zero plastic packaging, even their tubs, award-winning, carbon neutral, turning heads in the supplement world. But here's what most miss. The back end is where real profit is made, or in this case, lost. And right now, GoGood's back end is leaking, just like most of the Shopify brands out there. Well, gaps are good news because it's just pure potential. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I would rebuild GoGood's backend from the ground up, so totally from scratch, step by step, from the email collection to the acquisition flows to the post-purchase flows, to decrease your CPA and increase your lifetime value, and stop relying on paid ads so much. No extra ad spend, no fluff, just systems that you can use to build a machine that's going to give you predictable revenue on autopilot. If you're on a brand, you will want to see this. And yes, you can steal the strategy. Okay, so let me zoom out and show you from the beginning what's going on. As you know, GoodGo is getting traffic to their site using content and paid ads, but only 2 to 5% of that traffic is converting into a customer. The other 95%, 97% of traffic just isn't in the awareness level needed for them to buy. They don't have enough trust in the brand or not enough desire in the products. So if you don't have a proper backend system, that 97% of traffic will just leave and never come back. They'll probably end up buying from a competitor after a few weeks. What we are going to do is we are going to capture 15 to 20% of the highest intent traffic. So the ones that were about to buy, the closest to buying, but they just ended up not buying and leaving the site. We're going to be capturing them using our email strategy. And then we are going to be retargeting them using this 100 touchpoint conviction system. And also we're going to be retaining these customers to increase the LTV, okay? So retaining the customers will increase the LTV, increasing, so retarget the traffic that did not buy will decrease the CPA. So the first step to do all of this is email collection. We're going to capture 10 times, up to 10 times more emails using this strategy, where you first need to have a look at this report inside of Shopify to have a look at the sessions by landing page, map out the significant landing pages that are getting traffic, categorize them into different categories based on the awareness level of that traffic that's on that page. For example, on collection pages and product pages, people are on those pages to buy something, they're considering buying. But when it comes to stuff like blog pages and other pages, that can get a lot of traffic sometimes. But the awareness level on that page is more about learning more, reading something, finding out something, etc. So by nature, we want to have different pop-ups because the psychology behind a high converting pop-up will be different. First of all, the incentive is the most important variable. We are going to be testing that, as well as all of the other variables that exist on the pop-up, and I'm going to show you how. First of all, the incentive, straight away on the collection pages, on the product pages, you want to have incentives and discounts that will help them make the purchase, because that's what is most enticing to that traffic. They're looking to buy, they're considering buying, and just having a discount on it works. But not just any discount. You want to list as many discounts you're comfortable giving. List all of them. Even if you think it doesn't sound good, list as many incentives as you are willing to give. Well, one by one, of course. List as many incentives you are comfortable giving, and then test each incentive one by one systematically. I have a YouTube video on the channel where I show you how to set up a pop-up A/B test. Just go and set up the A/B tests systematically, so one by one. Don't test multiple at a time unless you're getting a ton of traffic. That's different. But yeah, so number one, testing incentives. Same for the blog pages. You want to have a freebie that does not require them to buy. Okay, you need to be able to get the value without having to buy. That's what is going to get you more submissions. So number one, testing incentives. Number two is also extremely significant, testing the format. As you can see here, these are not normal pop-ups that you see every day where you've got, hey, get 15% off. Here's the email input field and the submit button. Don't do that. On the first step of the pop-up, you want to have a micro commitment. So something like this, where you tell them you've got 10 discount, tell us how you feel about something. So it makes it about them and it's easy to click on, all right? They're just going to click on this and then they will see the email input field. Same here, ask them a simple question. Do you want free shipping? And give them two options, yes or no. And this gets a lot more conversions. By conversions, I mean converting visitors into email subscribers. It gets a lot more conversions than just having a plain format like this, where it's, hey, get this thing, and then the email input field, and then the button. So have a format like this, A/B test which one is the best, and then on the second step, you can show the email input field. We're basically testing every variable possible systematically. For example, testing with the close icon and without the close icon, testing the speed timing, testing the size of the pop-up, doing all of these A/B tests to find the optimal pop-up. And on the pop-up, okay, you want to ask, so for Go Good, we would ask, why are they buying? Like, what's the goal? What's the pain point? Of course, we can't ask too many questions. We can only ask one question, otherwise it would be too much friction. We'd come up with a higher leverage question that would help us determine who are we talking to exactly, so that we can have personalized flows that speak differently based on what they selected here. And then before we jump onto the flows, there is one important step that most brands miss, and that's the warm-up of the domain. Even if the domain has been sending for a long time, whenever I do a Klaviyo audit, 9 times out of 10, the deliverability has been damaged, sorry. So 9 times out of 10, it's been damaged, and the likelihood is, if you're watching this, there is a 90% probability your domain reputation is not as good as it can be. And how we are going to fix this is by building this infrastructure, which we can simply clone over to the account and turn it on. If you want that, you can go and opt into the deliverability lead magnet, and we can do that for you. And yeah, we would plug this in. We've already set up everything. We've fine-tuned all of the triggers and the engagement emails. What this is going to do is it's going to automatically segment the email list and strategically send warm-up emails that have been written and designed specifically for this purpose to increase domain reputation. They're going to get you replies to the emails and link clicks, and this will automatically happen across a period of 4 weeks. So the domain will get renewed. By renewed, I mean the reputation of the domain will get renewed. It's going to get a boost, and more of your emails will land in the primary inbox. And you can see some before and afters here. 200% increase in open rate before and after, 80% increase in open rates, 100% decrease in bounce rate. So yeah, that's for the warm-up, because there is no point setting up all of these emails if we are not landing in the primary inbox. So the next step is the flows. First of all, the acquisition flows to decrease the CPA, and by decrease the CPA, I don't mean touching your ads, I just mean getting you more conversions without you having to spend more on ads or more on content or acquisition. So first of all, the welcome flow. This flow is going to be handling the lowest hanging fruit, trying to convert the lowest hanging fruit as soon as possible. So this flow is going to be going out to these people, the ones that did not buy, but they were the closest to buying. Okay, in this flow, that's basically your bottom of funnel. You want to answer questions that your bottom of funnel will have. These people are basically considering your product and other products by other brands. You want to answer the question, why your brand? You want to handle objections. So like specifically zoom in on objections. Do not just have just an email that looks nice, that sounds nice, but doesn't actually do anything. You want to pinpoint objections, and you want to answer, okay? You want to follow up with the discount in unique ways so that it stands out in your subscribers' inboxes, because it's been a decade e-commerce is around. It's been a decade people are buying online from brands. You are not the first brand they're buying from. You are not the first brand who's sending them emails. You need to stand out the same way you would stand out in meta ad. You put all of those effort into ad creatives, etc., just to stand out and create a pattern interrupt. You want to do the same with these emails. Okay, that's the welcome flow. This is going to be about 10 emails, but even then, 90% of the people that join the welcome flow, that enter the welcome flow, are not going to convert, simply because of the nature of this world. Because people landed on your site, they just did not have enough conviction to buy the products. Okay, and even after the welcome flow, they are not going to have enough conviction. So you need to build the conviction and take them down the awareness stages yourself. Because if someone has enough trust in the brand and enough desire for the products, and if you keep adding touch points after touch points after touch, at some point in time, they are going to reach a conviction threshold after which they are going to buy. Now, this some point in time can be months away, or it can be a few days away. But that's why we have a long flow called the endless nurture flow that has about 40 to 50 emails, where we use every angle that builds trust. Okay, it's not the same type of email sent multiple times. It's one goal, building trust, but using different angles, and different angles, over 20 angles, to build desire. Okay, we have a long flow that keeps building conviction for 4 months, 3 to 4 months. And the reason this is separate than the welcome flow, another reason this is separate than the welcome flow, is because when the brand has a sale and they want to turn off the welcome flow because it has a discount, they can simply toggle off the welcome flow inside of Klaviyo, but they can keep this endless nurture flow turned on, because this is just educational content that's going to build trust and desire. By the way, you could have the best email strategy, but if you're landing in spam, it's just not going to work. I recently helped a client go from 14% to 46% open rate by fixing 3 deliverability mistakes they were making. Another brand jumped from 37%, which is an average open rate, all the way to 67%. And another client's bounce rate this time dropped from 36% all the way down to 0%. There's a free guide in the description that shows you the exact fixes it will take you 20 minutes to implement, but it could change your email marketing forever. And then after the endless nurture flow, actually alongside the endless nurture flow, we have the downsell flow. The downsell flow is a sequence of 4 offers where each offer has an announcement email, a launch email, a follow-up email, and a countdown email, and each offer is sent every 3 to 4 weeks. So every 3 to 4 weeks, these non-buyers receive a unique offer where the copy is personalized to these non-buyers. I think I forgot to mention that this flow, the endless nurture flow, is specifically for non-buyers. So if you make the segments inside of your Klaviyo email list, inside of Klaviyo, 70% of your email list are going to be people with no purchases. They've subscribed, they've gone through the welcome flow, now they are just sitting in your email list receiving generic campaign blasts. Instead of letting that happen, just have this long flow that's personalized to non-buyers, acknowledging that they've been on the email list for a while, they haven't purchased, they haven't tried the products, etc. Same with the offers. These offers will be personalized to to non-buyers, sorry. And then we have the abandonment flows. That's for people that take activity on site. So after these flows keep sending, this is going to generate traffic. Okay, when people click or when people go to the website to find out more. And also for your direct traffic. By direct, I mean from your paid ads and your other acquisition channels. This is basically your middle of funnel. Here, please don't just have emails that are like, hey, you forgot this cart, come back. That is stupid. Don't do that. The reason they left is not because they forgot. The reason is they hesitated and they had objections. And yeah, so that's what you need to handle. I'm not going to zoom too deep into these flows because this video would be quite long. Everyone talks about these. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Just acknowledge direction on the site, okay, and then nurture them more. Answer the question why your brand. Have plain text emails as well, because if they have a question, they are not going to respond to a marketing email that's designed and it's automated like this. Personal emails coming from one person are more effective when asking if they have a question. Follow up about a discount using unique angles, okay, and that's some tactic I showed it in a separate video, but I'm not going to go too deep into now. But yeah, these are the abandonment flows. These flows that I showed you that are on top are going to decrease the CP. And now to increase the LTV, we are going to be using post-purchase flows. So first of all, as soon as they buy, within 5 minutes, we want to send them an immediate upsell flow because they are in the buying mood. They are excited. They've got a wallet out. They just spent money. So getting them to spend more is actually low friction at this point. So you want to have an immediate upsell flow where you give them a chance to add another product to their order. So the same order ID, the same shipment, you'll have to use an app for this, to make this happen. You basically give them 20% off on the additional product, and they only have about 30 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours maximum. So that's going to be the upsell. But we don't just do that blindly. We have a look at this report inside of Shopify called items bought together to figure out what are the frequently bought together items so that we can have different emails based on what they bought. And then before we can get them to buy a second time, okay, we want to lay ground for loyalty. First of all, have a heartfelt thank you from a founder of the brand. Do not have a transactional corporate sounding email that says, we thank you for buying from our store brand. Do not have this type of cardboard email. It's going to make your brand look like there is no one behind it. Have a personal heartfelt thank you from one person, ideally the founder, even though that's not going to get you revenue, but it's going to indirectly create a relationship. It's going to start the relationship above a transactional level, which I'm going to explain later on. Then after that, you have the review request flow. Even though we call it the review request flow, this is from the POV of your customers. This is going to be like a personal check-in. We are not getting them to buy again yet. Simply checking in. How is it going? It was your first time buying from us. How's it going? And we can strategically direct the positive reviews, external review platforms like Google Reviews, Trustpilot, to increase your reputation, increase your score, and the number of reviews you have on those platforms. Because when someone new comes across your ad, they're going to Google your name and see what people are saying. They are not going to go on your product page to read the reviews. They are going to go on Google and see what comes up. And then for the neutral and the negative experiences, we are going to link these answers to an internal Google form so that the brand can internally catch the feedback to improve customer service, to improve the product, improve their processes, without this affecting their reputation. And then we have the endless loyalty flow. This is going to lay ground for loyalty because we are going to give them value beyond what the products are for. So understanding the audience psychographics, like what the values, what type of people are they, beyond just transactional level, okay? For example, if they are family, if they are parents, if you know that 90% of your audience are parents, have value-based emails that bring them value and content about what parents need. All right, okay. So for example, here, this is for a powerlifting brand. 5 recovery hacks, okay. Even though none of their products help with recovery, but 5 recovery hacks for elite lifters, because that's their audience, okay. And make sure the content is actually good, it's actually valuable. And then also have emails that reinforce the decision, that they've made the right decision, they've picked the right brand with the right processes and the right attention to detail, because we don't want them to get biased regret and think to themselves that, hey, I wish I tried the other brand instead of this brand. Okay, you want to keep sending this type of content 1 time per week for months. Okay, and the best part is these are automations, these are flows that will keep running. And once these flows start going out, we're going to be laying ground for loyalty, and then we can ask them for the second purchase. Now this is similar to the downsell flow, where it's a sequence that has 4 offers. Each offer has an announcement, a launch, a follow-up, and a countdown. But unlike other win-back flows that people preach, these are dedicated to first-time customers. Okay, and this flow lasts almost a year. So it lasts almost a year because we want to increase the time window where we will catch them when they need the product. Okay, because sometimes they might not need the product, and the win-back flow emails go out at a random time, and they just go to waste because they're not ready to buy. Even if your product only lasts 30 days, not everyone is going to use it in 30 days. And to figure out this stuff, we're not going to be making assumptions. We're going to be looking at the hard data. You can download this app, pull out this graph. You can see how long did it take second-time customers to place the second order. And we need to set a definition. What is a lost customer? What I like to do is, a lost customer is anyone who hasn't bought when 80% of the customers have bought. So 80%, so for, this is not for Google, this is for another brand, but this is what the graph will look like. I would have a look at this percentage. 80% of people reordered by day 29, okay? So after 29 days, I would have the first to second purchase flow go out, start, and this flow is going to last like 6 months. It's going to last a long time, where there's stacked up offers. By stacked up, I mean different offers lined up that will go out every month, every few weeks. So the brand will no longer need random flash sales done by campaigns. And by campaign, I mean manually having to send an email that's going to vanish and never be seen again. That's just a wasted effort. And then same for repeat purchases. We're going to have a flow that acknowledges that, hey, you've bought multiple times, you're one of our top customers. Here is basically giving them reasons to come back if it's been a long time they haven't reordered. Again, this flow is going to last months. We are not just going to send them one email at one time, hoping that they need the product. It's going to last a long time. So these flows are going to increase the LTV and decrease the CPA. And yeah, that's the strategy I would implement for Go Good.